Did I rock your world last week when I told you politicians don't pay attention to social media? When I let you know that they don't care about your tweet storm? That if you unleash a critical rant on your favorite platform, they're more likely to get a laugh out of it than to take you seriously? You know, after all that, you might think I'm anti-social media. I hope you don't, because I believe if you harness the power of social media, you can transform your passion into policy. Keep watching to find out how. Hi everyone, I'm David Smith, and I run Inthrive Advocacy Solutions, your solution for lobbying and advocacy and strategic planning. Yes, before launching this firm, I was leading advocates in Virginia, and we brought real changes to our criminal justice system. Also worked for a senior legislator in the House of Delegates where I ran her commerce and energy docket. Now, I'm bringing what I've learned through mentors and hard knocks to you. Welcome to Better Advocacy in 10 Minutes or Less. This is a series of videos helping you become a better advocate so you can turn your passion into policy. Now, today, I've got 4 ways to use social media to turn your passion into policy. And you know what? They all start with E. Are you intrigued yet? Oh, wait. I know what you're thinking. In my last video, I basically said social media sucks at changing legislators' minds. I did. And that's a hill I'll die on. Even though social media won't change that elected's mind, you can still use social media to advance your policy. Okay, no more questions. I'll let this video speak for itself. Let's get to those 4 E's on how to use social media. Number 1, engage your base. Number 2, educate the public. Next up, events, publicize them. And finally, you can use social media to establish new connections. All right, now let's get started. But before you engage your base, you actually need a base on social media, right? So you need to get folks to follow you. Like I'm sure you're already doing, right? This means having your socials prominently listed on your different points of contact and encouraging folks to follow you. You can also follow folks that work with you in this space and they'll follow back. Sometimes it might take a little bit of encouragement. But if you do that, that means that now you've built your base on social media, just like these people have built the base of that big old building. So you've got your base. It's not of cinder blocks, but of activists, supporters, and allies. And you can start engaging with them now. Yes, but what does this engagement look like? You know what? It's case study time. And I'm hoping that you are more engaged than the students that are not even showing up for this class here. Okay, so I once worked with a grassroots organizer who was connecting with people on the ground wonderfully, but not online. She just didn't understand why her posts weren't being engaged with, shared, or really even viewed. I took a look at her socials, and really each post was just her looking in the camera and saying the work that she was doing that day. Her content wasn't engaging. Telling folks what you're doing or how bad things are doesn't really engage with people. To engage your base, you want to give them achievable calls to action or entertain them. Okay, I bet you get the action part, the calls to action, but what's this entertaining thing? Isn't advocacy about transforming public policy? Yes, it is. But a lot of folks need a hook to draw them in. Stats get boring. Facts can be depressing. Kind of like this screen you're looking right here. Kind of boring, kind of depressing, right? They're both necessary, but you also need a dose of levity. As the misconstrued quote goes, if I can't dance, I don't want to be part of your revolution. Okay, so let's put this in an example here. I was at a FAM rally, that's Families Against Mandatory Minimums, one of the rallies in DC a couple years ago. It was the Pardon People, Not Turkeys. I mean, you can see the levity and the seriousness both just in that title right there, right? It was serious. We were calling on Biden to issue COVID era pardons for folks in the federal prison system. But we were also having fun. People were dressed as turkeys. We had turkey hats, and someone started playing music, and we were all dancing in our turkey outfits while holding up our protest signs. Not only was it fun in the moment, it made for some great social media clips. People dressed as turkeys asking you to call the president. How can you say no? In fact, people didn't say no. They did it, and we ended up getting those pardons. You see? Entertainment is engaging. Okay, enough turkey talk. Let's move on to our next E for social media. That is educate the public. First, pay attention to who we're educating. This is not your base, not students, but the public. That means we're not going on a deep dive to delve into the details. This is soundbite education, digestible facts or quotes that give people's attention a little pick and raise their awareness of an issue. You aren't making a decisive argument about why your cause is just or why others should take action. It's social media. No one is reading all that text or scrolling through a bunch of slides unless they're already with you. But by focusing on short, quickly digestible data and quotes, you can show that this is a problem that needs a solution, that you have a solution for this problem, or maybe even both. But how will people find out about your posts and tweets so they can learn? You can do this two ways. First and easiest is to make a post on yours or your organization's social media and ask your followers to share. This is a low energy ask that more folks are likely to engage in. And you can do this in a post to remind your base and other mediums to be sharing out on their socials. Next is a bigger ask, but is good if you have a highly engaged portion of your base. That's to equip them with a social media toolkit. Now, I won't go into all the details here. We'll do that in another video, and I'll be sure to post a link here when that does happen. But basically, you're providing them quotes, images, and links. And then they make their own posts and tweets. It's a higher energy ask than to simply repost something, but because they're creating original content, their followers are more likely to engage with it than a simple repost. Okay, next up, our next D, events. Now, I'm not talking about virtual events like going live on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, something like that, though these can be useful. But honestly, between you and me, outside of some excellent updates I saw from the ACLU of Virginia during their last Virginia General Assembly session on Instagram Live, I haven't really seen much done well in this space. So what am I talking about? The events I'm talking about are those power building events like a rally or lobby day or any place where you want people to show up in person. Social media calendars and posts and tweets are a great way to build buzz around your event and for people not associated with your organization or mission to find out about it and show up. In fact, every event I've ever been a part of that we've pushed on social media has had new to us people show up at it. Yeah, check that out. All right, our last social media E is establish new connections. Now, when people follow or comment on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or wherever you are, I'm sure you're already checking out their profile and seeing if there is something that they can add to your work, and then reaching out to them to see if they'd like to be more involved. But have you tried this with LinkedIn? Yes. The professional networking site can be a gold mine of connections. After you make sure your personal or company profile is up to date, start searching for organizations and people you want to be aligned with or bring into your work. Send a connection request and be sure to add a personal note saying why you want to connect. Most people that are actively posting on LinkedIn about what they're doing are folks who are interested in making new connections. Once they accept your connection, and don't get hung up on the ones that don't, it's up to you to make the most of your new ally. All right, there you have it. 4 ways to harness the power of social media for your advocacy work, and they all start with E. Do you remember them? Let's review real quickly. Engage your base. Educate the public. Events. Publicize them. Okay, I know that's a stretch, but you see what I'm doing here. And finally, establish new connections. All right, thank you so much for watching this short training on 4 ways to use social media to turn your passion into policy. Like and subscribe to the Inthrive Advocacy channel to get notifications of new videos. Be sure to check back every Friday for a new Better Advocacy in 10 minutes or less video.